Welcome to That's What She Pled, with attorneys Christina Goldberg and Julie Luhrsen from Luhrsen Goldberg LLC, law powered by women. It's time to shake up the old standards of law and of business. Join these two witty, intelligent, and sassy female business owners who are taking their industry by storm, challenging stereotypes and shattering ceilings. These two are on a mission to educate, empower, and support not only their own clients, but other powerhouse female entrepreneurs. Come for a laugh and stay for the vibe as Julie and Christina hold nothing back and share the truth of what it is to be female attorneys and business owners through discussion of current events, original stories, and inspiring guests. Now, on to the show.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. This is attorney Christina Goldberg, and I'm here with my law partner, attorney Julie Luhrsen, and this is the That's What She Pled podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Today, as we like to do, find some pop culture way to make our introductions. We're going to check with music, and I'm going to date myself a little bit here. Our guest invokes two classics. I'm pretty sure she's probably heard them both, but we'll first start with Elvis Costello's song, Allison. I know your aim is true, Allison.
Amazing.
Yeah. I think, though, you're sort of like the reverse of the character in the Allison song, because apparently she was like a grocery store clerk whose dreams had been dashed, and this was what life left her with. And I'd say you're the converse. Allison is the CEO of a successful advertising, marketing, and public relations firm here in the Sarasota, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch area. Her company is Grapevine Communications, which really leads us to our second song.
Well, wait, hold on. You have an Allison song. I have to have an Allison song. So I'm more 80s and 90s speed. So the Lemonhead, Allison's starting to happen. I mean, the reprise is literally, it's about an earthquake under the singer's feet. And it goes into Allison's starting to happen to me. So meeting you, Allison, meeting you in person is sort of like it feels like that song. I mean, your energy, you're just a bundle of energy, and it's super magnetic. So I'm more 80s and 90s speed. I don't know if you've heard that song, but that's the one that hit me about you.
I was going Allison Road by Gin Blossoms. So yeah, very much the same.
Oh, well, that's another good one.
Right.
Wish I'd thought of that.
Just still use an Android. That's another issue. Anyway.
Well, anyway.
Must be hard. Must be hard to deal with.
Let me segue to my other pop culture invocation when it comes to music. And that is, of course, the Marvin Gaye song. I heard it through the grapevine. The Big Chill was just a great movie when I was a youngin', and you guys were hardly in existence. But I think what makes it interesting is really, it's a play, obviously, for your company, since it's not just sort of haphazard getting the word out. It's very intentional, but I'm sure the goal is to have it happen in a very organic, seemingly casual, natural way, hence Grapevine Communications. Anyway, welcome Allison Imre of Grapevine Communications. I guess one other thing we need to say is that Allison is the competition. Yeah.
I don't practice law. That would be
I know.
No, you're not a lawyer, but you're plainly not a law firm. But there was a neck and neck race to the finish line this year for the Sarasota area 2022 Women Owned Business of the Year, and you were the winner. We were the runner up, aka the bridesmaids. We got a fabulous cookie platter out of that from you, which our staff
prepared by another women-owned
immensely.
Business.
Excellent.
I enjoyed it too. It was astounding.
It was great.
No one was more shocked by that announcement than I. So I firmly believe there should be demanded a recount.
Competition was stiff.
Yes, it was.
Let's not go to the recount. It was well-deserved, well-earned. And I guess sort of in an interesting nod, the award came with a beautiful glass statue. And true to the idea.
Privilege.
Wait, let me finish with this, Allison. Women break glass ceilings all the time. And true to form, Allison did that with her award, right?
3 days in.
Go with it. Go with it.
Mm-hmm.
It shattered.
I was ensuring its placement was prominent and that the shelf was dusted, and that backfired. I think it leapt to its own death.
But you shattered that glass ceiling that it was sitting upon. Yes.
Sure did.
All right.
You did. I had fish leap to their death.
Did you?
I did. I did. I never understood it. I took it really personally, but it did happen. Anyway, Allison, tell us your story. So Kansas City, you have Kansas City roots?
Yes, ma'am. My pop is from Jersey. My mom is from Needles, California, which is Death Valley. And they met at the University of Kansas. My father was there. Yep. My father was there on the GI Bill. It is 8th college after being honorably discharged from the Army. He liked to say he majored in freshman wherever he went. And then my mother, who was high school valedictorian and crossed every I and dotted every T, was there pursuing originally a career in theater and then shifted to education. And so they were wildly polar opposites, but born at KU Medical Center, born and raised, and still get back quite frequently to Kansas City. Great place to be from.
So you're a Royals and Chiefs girl?
I used to work for the Kansas City Royals. I did, yes. Oh. And still very much a fan. And of course, the Chiefs are virtually a religion in Kansas City. So I make it
especially these last few years.
Right. But no, I was a fan even in the early 2000s when there was a massive drought for wins. And we went 27 years without drafting a quarterback that won a single game.
Wow.
Yeah.
You weren't counting.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. Okay. So when you say you worked for them, were you a cheerleader? You speak cheerleader to me.
Yeah. Baseball teams are known for their cheerleaders. Yeah. I was head
Christy.
cheerleader.
I know. You never know.
You do. It might surprise you. I was in a sorority in college. So I also played rugby in college. So you can be
so like your parents, you're a series of you're a series in contradictions.
Yeah. But I think that's what makes life interesting.
Absolutely.
Don't be just one thing.
How did that not come up at lunch? Rugby. I don't
know. You get mixed reviews when you tell people that, because there are certain assumptions that can come along with it.
What assumptions come along with rugby?
I am married to a man. When I tell people I played rugby and I'm married to a man, oftentimes that gets the double surprise because they would assume the opposite.
Okay.
So it's oftentimes they assume my sexual orientation is a certain way because I played rugby. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. Some of my dearest friends, but it's funny to see that, especially when you speak with individuals who are from England, Australia, South Africa, especially New Zealand.
Rugby's big.
Yes.
I confess I did not realize that rugby was a sport that women played.
Yeah.
Title IX. Do we have women's rugby, or is it like a club sport?
At the University of Kansas, we got funding, but it was technically a club sport. So I started out, I rode crew the first semester of my freshman year, which was an actual Title IX sport. And then realized I'm in college and there's a lot of practicing that is going on. And
it's interfering with other activities that one could be pursuing.
You remember your freshman year of college. It was the world was your oyster. And I didn't want my oyster to be interrupted with 2 practices a day.
Fair enough.
That's fair. I think that's fair. Well, I get the same thing because I played roller derby and I get sort of the same. Well, that's what I get is your face. Right. But yeah, I get kind of the same thing. But it was a good time while it lasted. And then I felt like I was getting old and I decided maybe I didn't want to walk into a courtroom with bruises all over me. So let's move on. Let's not get brain damage.
I remember going to a formal for my sorority, I believe it was my junior year of college, and I had been mauled by this very, very talented athlete from the opposing team. And on my thigh, the front of my thigh, were very distinctly not only her cleat marks, but the word Adidas. So
wow. Oh my gosh.
So that's how you got into branding.
That was my first time as a human billboard. Yeah.
Look at you. That's kind of a cool story. You should use that more. All right.
So
how'd you land in Sarasota? Why?
Well, going back really quickly, how I got into branding. My mother taught communications, creative writing, public speaking, stuff like that. So this is in my DNA. So I didn't fall into anything. I feel like I was born into this. How did I end up in Sarasota? Growing up, my grandparents, my father's parents, had retired in Fort Myers. So we would load in the Oldsmobile diesel and drive straight through from Kansas City to Fort Myers, 22-hour drive, I believe, every summer. And some of my best memories growing up were being down in this area. After college, I moved around like a gypsy for a long time. I was actually living in Lake Tahoe. And the fella I was seeing at the time was working for an art dealer and got a job down in Sarasota. So followed him shortly thereafter, left the guy, kept the town. And that was 2004.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Now I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm better off without you. Good.
It was basically like a less expensive bus ticket.
There, there you go. Listen, you use what you can.
Right. Resources.
Exactly. Nice. So Grapevine, Grapevine's pretty new to you, pretty new to Allison. So how did you get into this? How did you find it? How'd you become the head of it?
Great question. And I still ask myself that question from time to time. In short, starting in 2007, I worked for iHeartMedia. And at the time there were Clear Channel. And from the beginning, one of my biggest clients was Grapevine Communications. I got my foot in the door. I made connections with them. And anytime they would have a client who needed radio or event marketing, they would contact me. So over the course of a decade, I got to be a close, trusted vendor of theirs. The founders of the company, Angela Massaro Fain and John Fain, who originally, Angela founded Grapevine in Montreal, Canada in 88. And from 88 to 98, she was the sole proprietor. And then the company was bought by Intertape Polymer Group and relocated as their in-house agency to Sarasota, Florida in 1998 to launch their U.S. operations. After that contract ended, Angela and John restarted the agency in 2002 in Sarasota. And since 2006, we've been in the building we are now. So for 9 years, I knew them well. I was a staple in their office, so to speak. And over the best things in my life happen over alcohol. This is so true. So over wine one night, they were lamenting about how they had engaged a mergers and acquisitions firm and how important their legacy was. And while they wanted to sell and retire and enjoy life, they were concerned about what would become of their company, their vision, their team, most importantly. And not knowing at all what I was saying, I'll buy it. Next day, we signed a letter of intent. And then immediately after, I Googled what a letter of intent meant and started figuring out, okay, how do I procure funding? And I saved every penny. I called in every favor, and almost a year to the day later, we were signing contracts. I bought the business and the building 100%.
That's a very mean
scary
move. Yeah, but doesn't that just strike you? That's like a Christie move. I mean, yes. Yeah, I'm going to jump off. Who needs the parachute? I'm going to jump off the cliff. Right.
And then there's Julie over here worrying about the details.
Yeah. Right. And if I jump out of a plane, I definitely want to meet the person who has packed my parachute. So I was fortunate enough to have specifically Bob Leibold of Leibold Industries. He, I'd known him for years through Chamber of Commerce events, and I remember his little elevator speech was, "We do what the banks do, we do what the banks don't do." And without understanding the full scope of that, I called Bob, and he had me fill out one application, and he shopped my loan and got me in front of the right people. And I did a tremendous amount of due diligence. And but if not for him, I believe I could have done it, but it would have been a significantly rockier road. And then the team has mostly stayed intact and grown. And I've got individuals who have worked for Grapevine for 16 years, still hanging around and doing incredible work.
And those are the people that we all dream of having
Yeah.
office, the ones that you really feel like you're
The
devoted.
institutional knowledge and and the commitment.
Mm-hmm.
So I've only been there 5 years in the grand scheme of things. And so I'm in the lower half of tenure there.
Well, how have you made it Allisons? I mean, when you came in, what'd you do to really make it your own?
What did you bring?
Willingness to listen. And my leadership does not come from the perspective of I'm certainly not warden educated. My leadership tack comes from the perspective of more or less the golden rule. I know how I would want to be led. And so how I've made it Allison, I've not made it Allisons. And that's why we've been successful. I've made it ours. And when I introduce people to the team, I don't say this is my employee. I say this is my colleague or my teammate. And they feel empowered, they take ownership, they care more, and they execute.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky. I'm very lucky.
Well, you're wise.
Yeah, you understand human nature.
Right.
Well,
that's how you got to do
it.
it.
Bosses before, isn't it that simple?
What was that?
I've had bad bosses before.
Well, and didn't you start at some point as a bartender? I think that qualifies.
Absolutely. I've been in the service industry since I was 16 years old, and through college, I played rugby. I was in a sorority. I was getting my degrees, and I tended bar to pay my rent and tuition and books and all that. But my parents helped me. I graduated from college without student loans from work, my parents being wonderful and some scholarship help. But I'm super lucky to not have that dark cloud over me. But so after college, when I said, what's a big girl job? I shortly thereafter moved to the Virgin Islands and then from there hopped around the world, so to speak, and knowing that wherever I landed, I could potentially have a job and cash in my hand that same day. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, have you either of you ever worked in the service industry at all? Waiting tables or?
Ever so briefly. I have tremendous respect. It's, I mean, with the golden rule, as sort of a fundamental, I think, for us as well, but it's a lot harder when you're dealing, I think, with people who sometimes aren't at their best.
Yeah. I mean, retails, that was my thing. And
retail jail. Oh, bless you. I did that. I worked at Bath and Body Works one summer, and I can organize things really well because of that. But no, service industry, I love people. I love working with people who have a service industry background because they can, juggle 10 different things and do it with a smile on their face and reprioritize very quickly. It's a tremendous skill set that can be garnered. Not that I'm encouraging people to go, get a restaurant job or a bar job, but
but you learn that people, a lot of time, people's responses to you or reactions to you have nothing to do with you. They have to do with whatever they're carrying around that day. Right. So the sooner that was a lesson I learned really, really early on was this is not personal. Don't take it personally. Nothing is personal. Don't take it personally and move on. And so if you can learn to view people from that perspective, like, okay, you were just rude to me, but you were rude to me because something's going on with you, not me. It changes everything. It changes your outlook.
Truer words were never spoken. There is a Chick-fil-A training video that all new team members have to watch. And it's just B-roll, just people walking through the restaurant, but bubbles over their head about what they're going through.
Yes.
My mom just died. I just got divorced. You walk a mile in someone's shoes and you'll understand what makes them tick.
Exactly.
So that's so true. You do learn you have to embrace very quickly that you can't take it to heart, can't take it personally. You give it your best. And what is it? God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change those I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
People's attitudes, have the wisdom to know that you can't control that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Interestingly, that's an Alcoholics Anonymous
paradigm.
I don't know what you call that.
Guidepost.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the next phase of my life.
That starts and ends every Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Although I actually have that in my office.
I think it works pretty broadly.
I think so.
Not just at your AA meetings.
I think it's nice to know that it's being applied there.
Yeah.
Impactful knowledge.
Speaking of that kind of thing, what do you have any favorite routines or rituals that kind of keep you motivated, enthusiastic, sane. You're a mom, you've got little kids, you've got a big business, you've got life. It gets to be a lot in and of itself.
It does, but someone once told me, and I don't even know who to credit with this, but you know how you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So it kind of keeps you from letting the world overwhelm you. One thing I learned when working with the Royals was be the smartest person in the room. Just be educated, be aware, know stats, know with whom you're meeting, understand the room, listen twice as much as you speak. So to that, my daily routine is I usually get up before the 7-year-old and the 1-year-old. And the 42-year-old, my husband.
The third kid.
What I'll do is I'll check all the local e-blasts, like from the Observer and SRQ in Sarasota, and just see what the kind of is going on in the community, what they're deeming as news, and that helps, kind of ground me for the day to understand what's being talked about. So I always feel like I'm starting the day kind of having my water cooler talk prepped.
Right.
And it's helpful. It's helpful. It feels like, I started the day by learning something.
Hey, sorry for the interruption. I know you're listening to the That's What She Pled podcast, and I am so happy you're here. If you have any questions, please head over to lawpoweredbywomen.com or look in the show notes to find out how to reach us. We would love to hear from you. So for listeners who feel the need to get in touch with Grapevine, I'm certain that they will. Talk a little bit about specifically, I mean, you're an advertising agency, marketing, that sort of thing, but what really do you do? What is the ultimate goal of Grapevine?
Well, the irony of what we do is our goal is to work ourselves into obsolescence, hence the name Grapevine. We will tell our clients all the time, there's nothing that we can conceive of or execute that's as powerful as word of mouth. So our goal is to get you known, get you remembered, get you talked about, and get you referrals from existing customers, from satisfied clients. We create those raving fans. And, we celebrate when we get that phone call saying, hey, I can't advertise anymore until I hire 6 more employees or open a second location. So essentially what we've built out, or what I've built out with the team over the past 5 years, is just building off the foundation of what they had been known for doing so brilliantly and substantially awarded for, which is essentially establishing and propagating brands. So logo design, ad development, media placement, website development, and our copy content. Everything starts with what are you going to say and what does it mean to the people you're saying it, or to whom you're saying it. And so what we've built out over the past 5 years is really, really, really robust team of brilliant public relations experts, social media team who are in the know. And that is a task in and of itself, because the rules change daily and the goalposts move constantly. Yeah. We've developed a couple apps. We've worked in that realm, but digital marketing and videography and animation. We're really, really, really lucky to have a team of full-time professionals who can tell that brand story and generate those leads. And it's nice because the fact that we are 22 team members strong, all in the most part working in the same building day in and day out, we collaborate, we strategize, and we get goofy together for all of our clients. So we can do everything soup to nuts, but even if you're not working with us on a website, well, we have a gal in our office who's our digital brand architect. So your existing website will tie into the digital marketing we're doing, which will align itself with the press release that's going out, that's going to manifest itself into a blog that's going to go on your website and be shared on your social media and maybe materialize into an e-blast to go out with your existing customer base. It's
full service.
Yeah. And
but all interconnected.
Yeah. But, if you go into a place, there's a lot of agencies and this is wonderful, but they specialize in, we only work with developers, or we only do digital. And that is great. Be an expert in that. But what we like is we don't try to steer you in one direction because that's the only thing we have to sell. we step back, look at the whole picture, and can be a little more comprehensive and robust.
Yeah. Well, the value of layering and interconnecting, and because it's all about visibility, right? And when people see you in one place and then the next day they see you in another place, and online they see you in a third place, and suddenly they start going, oh, I know it.
Very
I know
ironic.
it. Yeah.
It's that water torture. It's like, we tell our clients all the time, if you were selling ham sandwiches, our job would be very easy because we can just, hey, come buy this ham sandwich. But you're not. And so people don't need you every day. But when they do, they want, we want them to remember your name.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we definitely understand that concept as an injury firm.
Well, and you do it well. You absolutely do it well because you are in so many different places and you're authentic about what you do. And if only I could convince, I feel like you should come in and give pep talks to some of our clients about.
Listen, we can talk about an awful lot of things. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's a terrible idea. I rescind the offer.
We had lunch together. We had a lovely lunch together and learned an awful lot about each other. So yeah.
Oh my God. I left that floating, thinking how fortunate Christy and I were to get to know the two of you, because the personality and the sincerity and the experience, the paths that the two of you have walked to get to where you are now, that is a true success story.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you.
That's really kind.
We didn't invite you here to just tell us how great we were. I mean, honestly, let's give you some more shout outs here, because not only were you the 2022 Women-Owned Business of the Year Chamber of Commerce Award winner, y'all have done it a few times before. In both Sarasota and Manatee counties, you've been, I think, the Small Business of the Year award winners.
That was prior to me. That was,
okay,
but
still,
team.
it's the team, and you inherited a great team, and you built on it, and it's, you have this full blown sort of Renaissance firm. I say Renaissance with the idea that you see everything and you bring it all together. And just so people know, Sarasota and Manatee County are sort of sister adjoining counties, because I'm sure our audience is, much broader than just the Gulf Coast. But in any case, among other awards, I saw a very cool, graphic that you all did with like platinum records and all these records you've attained over the course of your existence down here in Florida. So quite impressive.
Yeah. Every year we try to have a theme, and this being our 20th anniversary, it happens to be the platinum anniversary. And so we went with the platinum record idea. Yeah, this year it's kind of we're incredulous. I think we've been very, very, very fortunate to be recognized the way we were this year, and we'll ride this high into 23, where I'm sure it will not be repeatable successes. But
don't go into it that way.
I have a feeling that it's not as serendipitous as you would have everyone believe, because you are a force in your own right, Allison, and you're really engaged in the community. It's part of your business strategy, I'm sure, but it's part of just who you are. The chamber, the Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance. I'm sure there's all kinds of other things I'm missing, but
and put on the spot at any moment. I mean, you can climb on stage and have something hysterical and incredible and amazing to say at the drop of a hat. In the meantime, I'm over here going, wait, where's my script? Word for word.
Word for word.
Right.
I appreciate you saying that. And I will absolutely do it, and hopefully usually look like I'm comfortable doing it, but typically start out being terrified. I had a gal, well, not only my mother, and having my mother being the tuning fork for my ability to feel comfortable in front of an audience. But back when the JCs existed, my dad was the president of the JCs, and he was the most requested speaker in the nation. So he can hold the attention of the room. But I had my speaking and performing arts teacher in high school, a gal named Sally Shipley, who also, was responsible in the early education, people like Paul Rudd and Jason Sudeikis. She left her mark on me. It's branded into my brain about constructing public engagement of any kind. And then I utilize that to, work in communications and radio, eventually host things like bikini contests out on Siesta Key. And and I used to host cornhole and beer pong tournaments. And then I bought a communications firm. So
I can totally see all of this. I'm not shocked by any of it, honestly. Oh my God, your energy.
Nobody wants to be all of one thing.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe
you're a success story. I mean, you said something about you didn't go to Wharton. Life is the greatest teacher, I think.
I agree.
Anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. So we've spent like half an hour here already chatting with you, taking up your time, but there's just a sort of, what are the future plans for Grapevine? Do you have anything in writing? Do you have a 5-year plan?
Yeah. Where are you on your 25th?
We have the team just came together. There was a core group of us, and we just presented it to the whole building. And we have identified what we call our North Star. So internally, we have a vision statement, and that includes multiple like SMART goals. And some of that's revenue, some of that's, expansion into different verticals, some of that's expansion into different markets, some of that's growing out certain of our departments. But generally speaking, I want for us to have a larger impact. I, over the past 5 years, have invested in really, really smart IP attorney. And so we own the sales mark to Grapevine Public Relations and Grapevine Communications. And I think with that, maybe starting a mentoring arm of Grapevine that would be pro bono, and then potentially looking at building out Grapevine franchises. We just think we have a really good model. It's been proven, tried and true, and it delivers results. And as long as you get a talented team and you manage expectations and you don't claim to be a magician, you're a marketer.
Yeah.
It's we have clients who have been with us for, nearly 2 decades, and that's the kind of relationships you want. So I feel like it's a repeatable concept that could benefit others and help springboard, entrepreneurs to impact makers and thought leaders.
Love it. Are you going to clone Allison?
Yeah, the exciting and dynamic.
God help us.
You're going to make it mandatory. Every franchise owner has to do like stand-up comedy, or has to kind of be involved in some sort of acting class or something like that,
or play rugby.
Just don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Everybody makes mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. The worst mistakes you ever make lead to the biggest and most impactful aha moments of your life.
Absolutely.
So, hallelujah. Yes.
So where would we be without our mistakes and failures?
Exactly. Yeah.
Nowhere. Living in neutral.
Yeah.
If you're not growing, you're dying.
Step out of your comfort zone, which probably is, what, now that we've dwelled on the mistakes and failures, is that not a great place to wrap up?
I think it might be.
On a down note.
Allison, do you have a favorite quote, expression?
Yes. Oh, yes. Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. People will never forget how you made them feel. That is what gets me out of bed every morning.
Love it.
That's perfect.
So fitting.
That's perfect. What about a song? Oh, sorry. I have to. What song do you play to get amped up? Do you have a song?
Every Friday night, the Alexa automatically has an alarm for our family, and this leads into a family living room dance party, and it is Bruno Mars' Uptown Funk.
Nice. That's amazing.
I want to be a fly on the wall.
I know. I was just going to say, can you videotape that?
Crazy legs. That kid. Yeah. Takes it very seriously.
I love it.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh. Well, Allison, thank you.
Favorite song? Hang on, wait.
God.
Can I ask what your favorite songs are?
You can. Julie, go first. I don't know. I'm very sentimental.
Yeah. Song.
Yeah.
No?
Well, listen, if I really get in my feels, Great White, Save All Your Love, old song. They don't make them like that anymore. That's probably my favorite song of all time. That's not an amp up song, but I love that song so much.
That'll leave you feeling a certain way.
That exactly. Like that. I got to get in touch with my feels. That's the one. Yeah.
Classic rock. But there's honestly, some of the most beautiful songs are so sad. So I'm not going to get back to me, Allison.
Okay. We'll put a pin in that one.
Not fair. No time to think about it. Where's my script? Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. All right, Allison. Well, thank you so much for letting us a whole bunch of your very valuable time this morning. You have been incredible, and I cannot wait to see where Grapevine goes from here.
Yeah.
So just for anybody listening who wants to get in touch, how can they find you? Tell them where to go.
You go to grapeinc.com, grape like the fruit, INC like incorporated, or you can find Grapevine Communications on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Google. The Google box has us.
The Google. And you're in Lakewood Ranch.
We are. So if you want to find us, first find Julie and Christy at their firm, and then walk 2 blocks down the road.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Well, thank you. Allison Imre, Grapevine Communications. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for listening to That's What She Pled podcast. Don't forget to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and do not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Luhrsen Goldberg lawyers. The content has been made available for general informational and educational purposes only and may not constitute the most up-to-date legal or other information. The content is not intended to be a substitute for legal advice from your individual attorney, and the information provided does not and is not intended to constitute legal advice.